Welcome to our friends. We bring peace to all those who live on the earth. When you live your life on the earth with no spiritual understanding, it can seem to you that the years have turned into centuries, and many of you often say, "Where did the years go by?" It all seems like a blur now. We believe that with a spiritual perspective, one incarnation on the earth plane, which is nearly always less than 100 years, is only a blink of an eye when you compare it to all the others that you have had. From our perspective, when we look at what is missing in your lives, in the past and present, it is simply this: a meaning to your existence. Many of you do not know why you do the things you do and for what purpose. Some of you will say, "Well, it's for my family or my children that I have this day job." And some of you will say that I want financial happiness. In the same breath, others will say, "I don't know what I want. My life has been bad." There can be many more responses, but at the end of the day, a lot of your kind is simply lost in the complexity of their lives. Now, let's imagine together a life without complexity, a daily existence that has you working not because of money or because of duty, but because you want to serve your community. Your work brings you complete happiness. Your work has purpose for yourself and those around you. Your creativity and the ability to express yourself is honored not by yourself only, but also by your community. From a young age, you are allowed to explore nature all around you, and you are educated in the craft that you excel at, and your teachers are friends too. You do not have any worries about paying the rent or the mortgage because your community does not uphold a system of inequality. Everyone is looked after and looked out for because there is a harmonious attitude to the whole and not just the self. You aspire to help others in your community in any way that you can, because in doing so, your higher self is being expressed, and your community benefits as everyone is peaceful and happy. The lesson where the duality of thinking, either lower or higher self-thoughts, has been learnt before in previous incarnations by all of you, and so there is no struggle to serve your brothers and sisters. Does this life sound like utopia? For it actually exists. It is our way of life, and we can share our experiences with those of your kind that are also interested in changing their ways of life too. Don't worry. We can hear your many questions and cries of disbelief as you say, "Impossible! This can't be for our planet," because there will always be people who will want to upset the apple cart, so to speak. Greed and corruption will always prevail in the minds of people, we hear you say. However, we are talking to your spirits, and you will remember that in the course of evolution, there is a destined pathway, and when you awaken your spirits to this truth, the world that we have just described will become a reality. You do not need to know exactly how this shift of consciousness will occur, for we are still wanting you all to open up to this possibility of a new world occurring. You have to open up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically within yourself first. Don't worry about your leaders or your governments changing their ways. We say that it will be when individuals in communities awaken to a consciousness that rejects the old. In doing so, you will also reject leaders and governments that are out of touch with this new awareness. Their voices will become irrelevant in your lives. How many of you actually listen to authority in your daily lives? Many of you check local laws, government regulations, and international rules all the time, instead of checking with your higher self and choosing to be true to your global self's awareness that says that this is not good for me or my family or my planet. There will not be any imaginary lines across lands that divide people in this new world that we talk about. You will not have to dig trenches to guard your country's borders. You will not have to create new weaponry that will destroy the enemy. You will have a different focus altogether, because the enemy that you feel is in another country, the terrorists as you call them, are actually parts of yourselves that you have not integrated using spiritual medicine. This is what we say is missing from your world today, a meaning that integrates all levels of your existence. The spiritual meaning has been lost in the doctrine and the dogma of too many religions and offshoots that have only divided families, communities, countries, and created a separation between yourselves and your higher selves. Our kind and your kind are part of one family, and to see you suffer makes us all the more determined to succeed in our mission to restore peace within your hearts and minds. It is not just our kind that have been sent to your planet, but many other groups too, and even though we look different to you, we are still beings of light as you are too. When you will remember that you are more than just a physical body, or your job, or your nationality, or your religion, only then you will open up your consciousness to more than just this one birth, that you find yourself in. Then you will know that you have agreed to incarnate at this auspicious time when your planet shifts from one consciousness to the next level up. When you hear our words and meditate on their truth, a soul memory will be triggered within you, and we can continue to connect with you in your dreams, visions, and meditations. We urge you to remember who you truly are. One individual that has come from a source that is pure and has a connection with many other beings of light that uphold a purity and an awareness long denied by your planet. It is still within you all, this spark of light that unites us as one family. Good. All is well.